please try the live stream.
You want us to go look at it?
Yeah, please go look at it. It's up.
Yes, we gotta give Simon the view.
No, you don't put yes or you put yes. Hell yes.
Oh, nope. Yep. Okay.
They have 36 watching right now.
We're popular.
Talking about having money. That's all you need to do. He's not a poet. I mean, he's not technically.
Put them like right next to me. That's cute. Nobody's gonna see the top of your head anyway.
I'll log out too. Log out too.
Hey guys, everybody should put their notifications and read so that the reader.
How about I took
Is there a way to see
Oh my God.
You're live. Oh, crap. We'll see you guys. You're on. You're on. Can we go? Can we go?
Why does he follow you?
Do you follow us, sir?
Oh, it's streaming. I did this 10 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Hey, she here. And when she's actually,
I want to think it's the computer. I don't think it's that.
So we're gonna wait another couple of minutes for people, for the audience to come in. And for all the 80 people on the internet who would join us on the live stream back there, it'll be just a couple more moments. Hey, Lori. Hi, Lori. Uh, 77 actually. 93. Okay, we'll wait one more minute and we'll get going.
No, you didn't. There was one.
Too close to the lights. All right, I think we're going to get started. So my name is Simon Tan. I'm lead instructor for Google Computer Science Institute here in Seattle. Every year, Google brings together. Thank you. So every year, Google brings together students, high school graduates who are heading off to college in many sites. I think there are 10 sites across the US. Over here, we have 30 students from around the country here for the Google Computer Science Institute. So they spent 3 weeks with us, 2 weeks when we teach them computer science, we teach them how to build a web app, we teach them all the basics of web technology. Let's see, come back here. There you go. Teach them the basics of web technology. And then the last week, they actually spend the time creating a project of their own devising. They've worked very hard this last week to actually come up with their projects. So students that we actually have are people who have actually demonstrated an interest in computer science. They may not be the best programmers. In fact, if you're actually too experienced, you're not right for the program. A lot of the students here who are with us today actually came to us with no programming experience at all, or very limited programming experience. And they've spent a ton of time here learning about all the agony of programming, for which all the professional programmers here are well aware what it's about. And today we're going to share the results. So without much further ado, I'm going to actually start presentations. I'm going to call in the first team to actually come up and go for it.
My name is Brenda Nieva. I am from Seattle, Washington, and will be attending Western Washington University this fall.
My name is Daniel Villarreal, and I'm from Clarksville, Arkansas, and I'll be attending Arkansas Tech University.
My name is Caroline Glazier. I'm from North Vancouver, BC, and I will be attending the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill in the fall. And we are Team Classify.
So over the past 5 years, there's been an increase in a 30% increase in students reaching out to counseling due to stress. And we can see a direct correlation between our organization and mental health, meaning that as our organization increases, so does our mental health. So with that in mind, we created an app that's goal was to reduce stress and making our lives easier. What you do is difficult, so why not make how you organize it simpler? Introducing Classify, an app designed to basically, with the goal of increasing your productivity, time management, and making your life easier through encouraging healthier habits. This is created for students, by students, but can be adapted to every single one of you.
So now I'm gonna run you through a demo of our app. So here you can see our homepage that gets personalized to the user upon logging in. And so if we were to go to the settings page right here, the website can be further personalized. For example, when the user puts in their birthday, it gets automatically put into the calendar. So now back to the homepage is where the app's central feature is, which is the to-do list. When the user puts in an item, it will be printed on the left-hand side where it says your to-do list will go here. And all of the data that they put in will be saved so they don't have to keep redoing it every time. And so now if we go to the calendar, so this is linked, this was programmed using the Google Calendar API. And so it's linked to the user's Google account. So here we see everything that CSSI student is gonna do in the upcoming weeks. And so here, because our app has a connection to mental health and health, we have a health section. So it pretty much just gives some recommendations as to what a university student should be doing in terms of their health. And we have this remind me to move feature because, I mean, when you're sitting down at your computer, time tends to fly by. So every 3 hours, the user will get this notification that just pretty much reminds them to do something healthy. Next, we have our weather. So instead of going on the internet, searching the weather or checking your phone, they can do it right here. And so here we have today's weather for Seattle. And wow, a 0% chance of rain in Seattle. That's kind of unbelievable. And so now when we go home, we can see our About Us page. And here is just a little bit more information about our app. And at the bottom, we have descriptions of each of us. Check out our LinkedIns.
So my role in our group was backend. I connected all the pages together. I made sure all the buttons worked, and I managed to link the to-do list and store all the data, the user inputs onto Google's data store. And I displayed that information on the to-do list page. And I used Python to connect all the pages together, and I used JavaScript to get the input. My challenges were actually using data store and retrieving the data and storing it, and yeah.
And so what I did was I worked mostly with the weather API. I also worked on the About Us page and the health pages, and some little things here and there. And so my main challenge was within the weather API, getting so many errors, and I had to fix them, but it worked out in the end. It's working, so okay.
Yeah, so I developed the UI and worked with a lot of the Google APIs, such as Google Tasks and Google Calendars. And one of the major roadblocks that I ran into was trying to make sure that the JavaScript was authorized throughout deploying it to Data Store and App Cloud, and making sure everything stayed integrated. So if there are any questions. Yes. Okay, so yeah, the question was, how did I do the text thing, which was the typing on the front? And basically that uses a thing called Slick, which is just pure CSS and is changed to whatever I'd like it to say. So basically just kind of introduces the app. Yes?
You said you use the Google Tasks. Does that mean that this task is just Google Tasks, or is that?
So basically that's what, oh, sorry, I can repeat the question. Mo asked exactly how does the Google Tasks is integrated to the website. So basically what we're working on currently and what we were kind of finishing up with having it so your Google to-do list that was listed on the tab will sync with your Google Tasks or can integrate and communicate with each other. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Elaine. I'm from the Bay Area, California, and I'll be going to UC Berkeley this fall.
Hi, my name is Michael Johannes. I'm from Springfield, Virginia, and I'll be attending the University of Chicago this fall.
Hi, my name is Anisha Atwell. I'm from Orange County, California, and I'll be going to UC San Diego this fall.
And our group name is Amazing because you can't spell amazing without our initials, AMA.
Our app's name is called Happy because it stands for Health, Appreciation, Peace, Positivity, and Yoga. And basically what our app does is that it gives you recommendations for what to do when you're bored or stressed out. And we also made a quiz that helps you personalize it to your own life.
So we're starting at the About page here. A few functionalities. A bit of about us here. If you refresh it, you'll see there's a change in the quotes. And this kind of further enhance the user experiences done using the quotes API. So now we're going to log in. We can log in here. Since we already logged in previously, it will take us directly to the profile page.
And in the profile page, it'll show you questions which will categorize and put in data store so that we can help come up with your recommendations.
So let's say we'll just keep this general data, and then we'll just submit it for now.
And this will take you to the moods page. So this further helps the user personalize the next page. So let's say we're feeling calm right now, then the recommendations page changes to that color.
So now that we're on the personalized section, we can look at the three main functionality types. There's food, just in general, finding restaurants, activity, which we'll go into a little bit later, and then attractions, which shows landmarks or points of interest nearby. We also like to point out that there's also a way to look at the general scope of the restaurants in an area, regardless of personal choice. But for now, we'll just look specifically at attractions here. So here you have the Google Maps API here displayed. There are numerous places numerous types of locations or landmarks that we refer to. This is all searchable. You can click it and it'll take you to the Google search. And these are top choices. This is done by a rating system. For restaurants, what we do is we take into account the rating as well as the price level, which you notice was also in the quiz, and then we can filter the data based on that. And I think here, so now that we got that, one important thing to show how that this works is that we're going to go back to About, and we're going to actually change our profile here, so that we're going to say I want to be outdoors more instead of looking at indoor locations. And then we'll just say relax, for example. And then so here it would work as well. We'll look here back at attractions. And then you'll see, if you notice, this is all park data. So this is an example of the data actually being filtered, and we are accommodating for that by deciding filtering out certain locations over others based on the quiz. Now that we got that, we can go to the yoga part.
So I did the yoga page, and basically we use a yoga API so that it can generate different types of yoga poses if you want to exercise today. But if you pick in the create account section that you don't want to exercise, it will take you to the video game API.
I think now we got everything covered. We can go and log out. And
When you log out, it just takes you back to the About page in the beginning.
then you'll see if you need to log in, you have to sign in.
So a challenge for me was because I did the front end, I had to organize everything so that it'd be a pretty layout, and me and Anisha would have merging conflicts on GitHub, but
So I worked a lot with the backend, kind of dealing with the APIs. I think we use around 4 APIs, such as Google Maps and such, and kind of parsing that data and sending it out to the client side for them to deal with.
And then my biggest challenge was with the menu icon first, making that line up was harder than I thought. And then also with the moods page, making the buttons change the color of the next page. And questions, comments?
So if I move my laptop to LA, will it change?
So Okay, so the question was about the geolocation functionality. So if you were in LA, would you be able to get because of the geolocation API we use? So if you go back here, oh wait, we can log in. But basically, it will grab your location data. That was shown if later before when we were showing the maps, you'll actually see on the link there would be a / latitude longitude. That's how we parse the data.
Any other questions?
Mention the video game API?
Trying to see it?
Yes.
Okay. So we're just gonna log back in to the account.
I'll just use the personal one.
And then to get to the video game one, we have to say that we do not want to exercise today so that it So then choose video again. And then if you go to indoor things to do,
So this actually takes a little bit of loading time because it goes to the something called the Giant Bomb API. So you see there's the latest game that appears. You notice that the rating is 0.0, but that's because the data is updates continuously. So it's very this game could have been released a few days ago for all we know, and that's kind of why we rated this game.
any other questions? No. Thank you.
Hello, I am Logan Sage. I'm from Las Cruces, New Mexico, and I will be attending New Mexico State University this fall.
My name is Lauren Megan Botha. I'm from Austin, Texas, and I'll be attending U Chicago in the fall.
My name is Sean Suku. I'm from Dallas, Texas, and I'll be attending Southern Methodist University in the fall. And we are Slow Meg Technologies. So as recent high school graduates, we're all aware of the confusion and the discombobulation of the college preparation process.
Not everyone has the perfect academic advisor.
College Plus is here to alleviate the stress and confusion that comes with that process.
Now, let's rewind a year back, or maybe a few years back for most of you, to an unsuccessful meeting with Karen, the academic advisor we all had but did not want.
So you've left your office and you just feel more confused than ever.
And you're very intelligent. Southern Methodist University, FRAM, recommends College Plus for you.
So you arrive to our website and you realize you're not alone and there isn't actually a solution to your problem. You're going to go ahead and scroll down, and after signing in with your Google account, you can go ahead and pick a path. So for demo purposes, I'm going to say I don't even know what college is. And I don't really know what degree I want to pursue in college. So I fill out this questionnaire and it would pick up on my traits or my personality traits and things I like to do and recommend 3 degree paths for me. So there's a default stuff in there. Let me go ahead and submit my answers, see results. So I recommended these 3 degree studies.
Yeah, so here you can see we programmed an algorithm to match users' inputs/interests to filters that our API would apply later, which you can see when we go to the college match.
And if I was logged in before, it should have saved that in my profile. Let me go ahead and log in now. I can go ahead and redo that because I was supposed to be logged in. Sorry about that. So if we now click View Profile, that should be saved in our majors. And we can go back to the same point we were just at and move on to finding colleges that match me. So here, it's a similar questionnaire. You answer these questions and it'll help recommend the colleges for you. And we have a cool error message here. So if you have your parameters too specific, it'll tell you to broaden your horizons and try again. I'll have Sean explain how that works here in a second. So let's go ahead and broaden my horizons. Let's go to California. Say I want a bachelor's degree and computer studies. Let's go ahead and submit that and see my results. So there are some recommendations of colleges that match with my interests. And like I said, again, we can view it in our profile, and that's updated to the new colleges that got recommended to me. You can go ahead and explain that error message.
Well, Lauren will explain what we did.
So quickly, I'm going to explain what the algorithm itself does. So we programmed it so that it would filter through filters available through the API. There was so much data that we kind of selected it down to these filters so that it wouldn't produce like 500 colleges.
And with the profile thing, I had to use data store and had to get the email from the user and check if the user's been here before. And then if they've been here before, it takes the data from the cloud, brings it back down. And that's why there were presets that we already logged in before.
So we can go ahead and move on to some more college resources that we provide for the student that's in search of all this knowledge.
Yeah, so you guys enjoyed the good news. So here we kind of, like one problem for me specifically going through college was having a lot of resources spread out. So here what we kind of tried to do was to kind of put it in one spot so that students like don't get overwhelmed with all the information online. So here we have a calendar, an interactive calendar, where you can click events, which we hard coded. And you can copy it to your own calendar. It includes like links to like important resources like Common Application. If you go a month later, you'll see SAT dates where you can register, late registration dates, things like that. We have a little section on how to improve your SAT score, including and then if you scroll down a little bit, a part on scholarships, because paying for college is important. This is kind of a whole part of our goal of increasing access. And if you scroll a little bit more, you can see some studying hacks that we use personally, and some of our favorite Spotify playlists for students that they can use while studying, and a YouTube playlist that they can also use.
Also some resume help there. And at any point in this process, somebody can go here and select this device picker option. And this will recommend a laptop for somebody going to college, because a lot of people don't necessarily know which device to use in college. And I'll talk about that.
Yeah, this was my part. I spent a little bit of time on this. There was really no API, or if there was a data set, I didn't want to use it because I didn't really have enough time. So I just made my own huge dictionary from all this data and has URLs, names, pictures, and stuff like that. So there's an algorithm where it'll show you the best option for you.
So, yeah, so on this page, you can go directly to whatever product got recommended to you and purchase it if you'd like. And similar to the degree and college recommendations, you can now see your updated device recommendations in your profile. Sorry, I keep pointing the TV. See it right there. And at the bottom of all these pages, you were able to see our information, the developers of this web app. You can follow us on Instagram. They're all clickable. Yeah. Let's talk about some challenges we had while making this.
So one of my challenges was being overwhelmed with the data provided by the API that had the college like resources. There's so much info about schools that I had no idea even existed. So, but with a little persistence, me and Sean were able to really like filter and find the data we wanted.
So for me, I was doing a lot of the design and making sure that the website had a specific flow and it wasn't too hard for a new user to understand it, get lost in the website. So I was making sure that there was consistent styling throughout the entire website. And that was a big challenge for me because I insisted on not using preset or pre-built templates. I wanted to do all of it on my own and really get those CSS skills down. So,
the biggest challenge for me was actually, I say data store. Data store was hard, just actually saving the stuff to the cloud permanently and then putting it back down. I got a lot of help from Steve. He literally put one line of code in it and it all worked. So I appreciate that. And yeah, that was the hardest part for me.
Yeah, so now we're open to questions or comments.
I realized you had a search function for the university. How do you do that? Is that like a database or do you guys?
Oh, yeah, let's repeat the question. So essentially he asked, how are we searching for colleges? Because there's lots. So the way I mostly worked on that. Me and Sean mostly worked on that. There's actually, so it took us a while to find the proper API that would actually like have a lot of the info we needed. So we found an API and it took us a while also to find the data dictionary, which is kind of, we did it. So there's an API that has essentially stores a bunch of information about all the colleges in the US. I think it's actually a governmental one. I think it's called College Scorecard API actually. And so it includes like tons of data in a dictionary, I believe. Like college is a dictionary. So we essentially like just gave filters for what we wanted using like preset. They had filters about like, I don't know if that makes sense, like kind of like filters. And then we just had it print out 3 attributes about the college, or just one, sorry, the college name. So there was a list essentially that we just accessed.
Any more questions?
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I am Marilyn Madrid. I come from Good Hope, California, and I will be attending UCLA this fall.
Hi, everybody. My name is Miguel Rodriguez. I'm from San Antonio, Texas, and I'll be attending UTSA in the fall.
Hi, everybody. My name is Denzel Bilson. I'm from Aurora, Colorado, and I will be attending University of Colorado at Boulder this fall.
Our team name is cssi, which stands for Caffeine Cap. So everybody in the audience is either hooked on caffeine or knows somebody who is, right? Yeah. All right, we have some people in our CSSI team that are hooked on caffeine too. So we built this app thinking of them. It's actually not good for you to drink a lot of caffeine, which I'm pretty sure all of you know. The recommended is you can't drink more than 400 milligrams a day. Otherwise, you can get like muscle tremors and stuff, you know? Yeah, so our app is like designed to help you regulate that and help you understand like how much caffeine you're drinking. So Miguel will go ahead or Denzel will go ahead and show you how it works.
Thank you. So let me go through the page. So when you log into our app, this is, when you go to our website, this is the first page you're on. We have a home, about page, services, product. Let's just go ahead and log in. So when you log in, it'll ask you to register. So let me just use the names we're going to use: Miguel Rodriguez, and then phone number, then register. So then that gets stored into a database and it's attached to your, he already used his Gmail to log in, so you didn't see that, but that gets attached to your Gmail account in the database.
So next, you go to the input page so you can input your actual caffeinated drink that you may have drank today. So here you start typing in something. So let's say you drink a Red Bull. So there's an autocomplete function that gives you the option to choose from. So let's say if you chose Red Bull. So when you press submit, the program parses through a CSV file that looks for this name and the associated caffeine content with the drink. And when you press submit, it's going to create that caffeine drink entry and attach it to the user. So next, it goes to the profile page here. Welcome to user, and tabulates the caffeine entries for the day that the user has drank today. So here, it will also sum up the caffeine you have drunk for the day. And there's also extra buttons to go to other pages. This page will go to another, you can add another input. So let's say we drank Death Wish coffee. Okay, so as you can see, Death Wish coffee has 660 milligrams of caffeine per serving. And as assumedly, so it's evident that this is extremely dangerous. And you have exceeded your 400 milligrams of caffeine per day and tells you to not drink anymore. The other button is this week button. This will extend the time span of the entries available to you to the week. So since this user only has 2 entries so far, it's not going to change, but it will change the calculation that is shown. So when you press this week, it will calculate how much caffeine you drink per day. And if this exceeds 400 milligrams per day, it's going to also show another warning.
So I worked on the CSS part, and then that was a big challenge for me because I tend to be a back-end person. So CSS was really hard. I worked with Maryland, the CSS, and I also worked on the back end for the login and then importing the API. So that there was a lot of challenges in that because we had to scrap some of our early stuff even as we were approaching the deadline, and we ended up totally rebuilding our website.
So since I was in charge of the back end mainly, my main challenge was making all the handlers work together so that the pages are linked properly and that there's no missed redirects, and that whenever there's a redirect, the correct functions are called and everything is properly rendered out. Also, data store was a problem at times. Sometimes there'd be a none value that just happened randomly, and the entity one didn't create a data store, and I'd have to figure out where that none value came from. Also, I had trouble maintaining strong data consistency between the put and fetch. So sometimes there'd be a lag between putting an entity in, and it wouldn't always show when you fetched it because there's a queue whenever you want to put an entity in.
So one of my main challenges was working together with somebody else on CSS because it's like really hard to choose on like, what do you want your website to look like? What do you want the feel to be? And then working with CSS, which is a really difficult program to work with because sometimes you just like try to do something and then it does the opposite of what you want it to do.
So Caffeine Cap, any questions?
Comments, suggestions?
Comments, questions?
How do you figure out death wish copy?
Death wish copy? Oh, well, I found the data. So this man asked, how did we figure out death wish copy? I found a data set that contains about, I want to say 650 plus caffeine drinks and their caffeine content, and that's where it came from.
Don't do that.
Steve.
Is there a page for all your previous caffeine attributes or so on this like story is going to see like where what you're doing?
Oh, so okay. So Steve's asking, is there a page that can show all the users' total caffeine entries, like what they've always been put? We currently don't have that page, but the this week button, the function that's associated with that button can be easily scaled up to show a larger time span.
Thank you.
Hey everyone, my name is Casey Puentes. I'm from North Florida and I'll be attending the University of Maryland in the fall.
Hi everyone, my name is Seema Kulkarni. I'm from Houston, Texas, and I'll be attending the University of Texas at Austin next year.
Hello everybody, my name is V Fam. I'm from Vallejo, California, and I'll be attending Diablo Valley College this upcoming fall. And our team name is F6.
Because we live on floor 6. Citizens for Community is an act based on the idea of connection and conversation between both constituents and their council members. It allows for user-generated input to allocate resources and the adequate response to solve issues in the community, increasing efficiency and efficacy. Based on a national survey of health attitudes in 2015, only 49% of adults feel a sense of membership in their community. Our app makes civic engagement accessible on both ends. Our mission statement is to promote the active role of citizens like you to become more involved in their communities. We aim to do this by creating a submission form which reports locations, issues, and images to your council members through crowdsourced data.
So once you go onto our website, you are once again greeted with our mission statement of the purpose of our website. And once you scroll down, you have 3 buttons you can press. The first button we should go to is the tag definition button. It educates the users of what the tags mean later on in the demonstration, which Casey will show you. And if you go back, this other button tells you the city council purpose. So basically this page allows you to know what the city council is doing with your form and how your form will get used to solve the problem that you want to solve. And the last button that we have is report an incident button, which will bring you to the report page, which Casey will give a demonstration on.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and build a little scenario here. Let's say I found an issue. So I come to this website, type in my name, we're just gonna do email@gmail.com, create an email, and then we're gonna skip this for right now, we're gonna come back to it. And these are the tags that were explained a little bit earlier in the presentation. So somebody go ahead and shout out a tag. Unsanitary, okay. So this is going to help us build kind of like the foundation for what I saw, or if you, depending on what you saw, the tags will help whoever's receiving the email to kind of figure out where to send it. So while I actually search for a location, Seema's going to explain what she did on the Maps API portion.
So my part was locations. I used a series of nested APIs to provide the user with a choice point between manually inputting their location or pulling it from their current IP address for their network. So Casey, if you go a little up. So you can manually enter your address. Let's say where you are right now is not where you saw the issue. You can say that you saw, I guess, unsanitary things happening at the Woodland Park, maybe not your home. By doing that, I use geolocation and geocode to convert latitude and longitude to your actual physical address, and I used a map marker that had the geocode and geolocation to pinpoint where you were or where you wanted to report the issue at. So yeah.
All right, now that we have our location, we can select an urgency level. We're gonna say medium for this case, and then we're just gonna type up a little explanation of what we actually saw. So let's say I was in Woodland Park, never actually been there, but I'm gonna assume there's some benches. So there was a lot of trash by the benches. Simple enough. Simple explanations help the reader understand what you need to happen instantly. So, unsanitary, excessive litter is also another tag that we could add on there. And then at the end, we just go ahead and submit. Takes a second to send an email, and then we come to this page. Now, I do want to show that the email actually does send, so we have a little count set up here. And if it will load, here we go. All the information entered does go to whatever email you want it to. In the case that this app is fully functional, it would be your local city council email.
The purpose kind of behind this whole form thing was to make it as dynamic as possible. So that's kind of what our app functions to do, like ease the conversation between city council members and citizens.
One challenge I had was just basically working with the HTML and CSS and having everything look aesthetically pleasing for the user. And then another challenge I had was having the buttons go to their corresponding pages, which I had little experience with.
The hardest part for me, never have coding before, is teaching myself promises. So taking on the challenge of APIs, it's something I haven't ever done before, and it's a little bit harder to integrate everything in JavaScript. I originally started off in Python, but that would only work locally, so I moved everything to JavaScript so that way it'd be compatible with the cloud. I used promise to kind of like parse through the objects in the stream since there was no guarantee whether your geocode or geolocation is going to be. So that's kind of what I did. And I learned how to use it to a way where I am now able to work with APIs and integrate them in a way where I'm confident that my code is right. Well, not right, but I'm on the right track.
So my biggest challenge was definitely scaling. I mainly worked on this report page, and as you can see, it's a little big for a computer screen. When I built this page, the idea was that somebody isn't going to really sit down at a computer and report an incident, but rather they would take a picture on their phone, upload it, add a description and a location. So my biggest challenge, if I can get the inspector to come up, was getting it to scale for mobile. So as you can see, this was what it would look like on a mobile device. It's a lot more friendly to see. You can see every section that you have to add a lot easier. Any questions? Comments? Sure.
So where it says image URL, is it you take a photo and then upload it somewhere and then you link it back to that?
So the question was, at the image URL, how would it work? Would somebody upload an image and then add the link? The time frame that we had to build this app, we didn't really have enough time to add a feature where you could actually upload a photo image. So the idea behind it is that someone would upload an image to maybe Imgur or something like that and just add it there. But in the future, that's definitely something that we're gonna try and have. Any other questions? Sure.
I would definitely say the hardest API I would have used is Marker, especially since it has to do with being where you are. So getting your latitude and longitude and converting that to an address is simple enough, but to make it where it can work with both manually entered physical addresses, otherwise, like where you are currently, and switch between those based on user-generated input with on-click functions was a little bit difficult, especially making sure that all the APIs were integrated and, working together with each other seamlessly. The marker function actually had another API inside of it, which made it precise. So making sure that it was as seamless for the user as possible was definitely the hardest part.
Any other questions? All right, thank you.
Hi, I'm Carly Cordero. I'm from San Diego, California, and I'll be going to Arizona State University this fall.
I'm Ethan Mooney. I'm from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. I'll be going to Oklahoma Christian University this fall.
I'd like to start by saying hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. For those who don't know me, I'm David Castellanos Benito. I am from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and I'll be attending Drexel University this fall. And we are quite real.
So we realize that there is a struggle for people who are in wheelchairs, and it is very hard for them sometimes to realize, can I go in this building? Because some buildings are on the older side and they don't always have elevators or ramps, or they were just not built to be able for people in wheelchairs. So we made a map that helps people in wheelchairs, either friends, family, etc., anyone that wants to really help them out, find out if they're able to get into a building, whether it's accessible or not. So that's pretty much our thing. So first, in order to access the map, you have to log in, which Ethan will talk about.
So when you click the login button, it takes you to a Google Accounts login. So since we're logging with this account on here, it asks if to allow permission, so you click allow. And it checks and you can see if we have an account already with Wheel, and we don't, so we have to create one. David@gmail.com, and then we have to create a password with that also. So it also has verification. So if the password doesn't meet the requirements, it tells you. So for this example, it needs to be 8 characters long, and we're only using 4 characters. So if we make it 8 characters long, add an uppercase letter and a lowercase letter, and repeat the password to make sure that it's put in correctly. And they don't match because I can't type. It's very good at making you think. Okay, and then you click Let's Go. This creates a user account for you, and now you're able to access our map. And now, so this is the main dashboard for the user. Has a greeting, some information like the date and time, and then you can click search.
Well, I worked a little bit on integrating the map onto the dashboard, and so when you search up a place, doesn't matter where, for example, Pike's Place Market, it will zoom in and center to where the location that you typed in, and then if you click on the little button over here that says view, it will tell you how to yeah, and so we created so now if we change the location to a different place, yeah, it's in a space now.
Yeah, these are both wheelchair accessible.
Yeah, so
if you couldn't tell.
Let me try the Pike's Place I clicked on. Here's the actual text.
Yeah, so we created the red and green symbols so that you can easily identify if it's accessible or not, and not just read it true or false. We made it so that you can visibly see it, and not just read a bunch of words.
Yeah, we mainly put the words besides just the symbol in case, because red-green color blindness is relatively common when it comes to color blindness. So we made it so you can also read it instead of just having to rely on the color. So my biggest challenge probably was working with APIs. We used 2 different APIs. We used the Google Maps one that has the search box over here, and we also used one that it's the information of a place and shows if it's wheelchair accessible or not. This one only had the information. It did not have the icon. It didn't really write it out. It really just said true, false, and the name of the place. So integrating these two together was actually kind of hard. Luckily, I had David and Ethan who were very good at HTML and CSS and just like putting it all together, making it look nice. So that was probably my biggest challenge.
So I mainly worked on the sign-in and login and the design of the main page. My biggest challenge was definitely getting the sign-up and login functionality to work with linking to your Google account and then creating a user based off of your account and making sure they didn't already have one, so you didn't have multiple users of the same person.
And I worked a lot on the front end, making sure things were resized according to like size of the window and stuff like that. I guess one of the biggest challenges I faced was this morning trying to get the map to pop up when you click on the window pop-up. And so I could not have done that alone without some other friends of mine. Steve, thank you very much. And so that was probably one of the biggest challenges I had to deal with. Also was trying to make sure when you refresh the page that we had a little issue when you refresh the page, it would create a whole new entity in the data server or data storage. And so that was also an issue I ran into a while ago. And so thank you to the person who helped me on Friday. Thank you very much, Diego. Yeah.
So any questions, comments, suggestions? Yes?
So I'm a member of Disability Alliance at Google, so thank you guys so much for considering accessibility for your project. And thank you also for considering red-green colorblindness. Do you know about, for everyone, just because this is like CSSI, right? One really cool feature that Google has, if you know about like your developer tools, you actually have an accessibility audit in there, and that will go through and find things like red-green colorblind issues. It will also probably highlight things like contrast on your buttons. So for example, that view button, if I have low contrast perception, that might be difficult to see before it's highlighted. And so that's a really cool tool.
Thank you for letting us know about that. Anyone else? Okay, thank you so much.
Hi everyone, my name is Trisilla Young. I'm from the Bay Area, California, and I will be attending UC San Diego in the fall.
Hi everyone, my name is Kiara Berry. I'm from Dallas, Texas, and I'll be attending Texas A&M University in the fall.
My name is Sam Asefa. I'm from Seattle, Washington, and I'm going to be attending the University of Washington this coming fall. And our team name is Team Pi, and our app is called CalPal.
So CalPal is an app that allows the user to track the amount of calories that they have per day based on the user's input of the food that they eat each day. So if we go into the demo, as soon as you log in, it takes you immediately to the sign up page where you can put in your weight, your height, age, and gender. And then another feature of our app is that we give the choice of whether they want a weight goal. So they can lose up to 2 pounds per week, or they can gain up to 2 pounds per week. They can also maintain their current weight if they want to. And then we also ask for their activity level if they're very active or they're not that active, or they just go about their normal activities throughout the day. And then once you click the Let's Go button, it takes you straight to the profile page.
So once you ever enter your data, everything is saved to your unique ID, which is tied to your Google sign-in. Once you scroll down, once you enter your information, it calculates how many calories you should be taking if you want to meet your goal, depending on whether you want to gain or lose weight and how active you are. If you log out and log back in, it takes you right back to your profile where all your data has been saved. If you go to the log page, you will be able to enter your meals based on breakfast, lunch, dinner, or snack. And our API will filter through all of the options and return the carbs, calories, fat, and other nutritional facts that you will need to keep track of your goal. Due to time constraints, we were unable to make it so that the calories, as you can see, like 541 calories, will add up and display next to your daily goal because we were wrestling a lot with the API over the past week.
So I worked a little bit on front end and back end. So I worked on the profile page, and back end was the Fat Secret API we used to gather the information. So my challenge was with the API, so trying to get the information, parsing it, and reading the documentation. But luckily, my friend Khalil helped out with that. So shout out to him. And that was my challenge.
So I worked mostly on front end, so the HTML, CSS for the design, but I also did a little bit of back end with the buttons through our website. A main challenge with me was keeping the CSS HTML aligned with the Python, because sometimes it wasn't going hand to hand. And then I also had a main challenge with keeping the backgrounds. So in our first two web pages, it had the same background image, and then I wanted to make a different one for our log page. So since we had only one CSS, it was difficult to make two different images. But yeah, I think that's it. Is there any questions? I'm so sorry.
So I started on the front end so I could get started on the back end relatively quickly. I work mainly on the handler page and data store. Working with data store to save the data to your unique user ID based on your email was really difficult. I broke the sign-in page a couple times, like yesterday, but Miguel helped me figure that all out. So any questions?
How does the activity level affect the amount of calories? Okay, so the question was, how does the activity level in the profile page affect the calories? So if you actually go back to based on the weight and height and age that you put in, you can change the activity level. So if I wanted to put in my weight, so if I could change the activity levels based on how active the user is, the more active you are, the more amount of calories you're going to have to be taking per day to maintain that weight. So if I wanted to show how active that was, it would increase about a couple hundred calories as opposed to if I was only lightly active, it would be a less amount of calories. Are there any other questions?
How did you get each food's calorie value?
Getting each food that came from the API, so just parsing the first line of what we wanted.
Which API do you use for the get counter data?
Fat Secret.
Alright, let's get this started. Hi, my name is Joshua Murillo. I'm from San Diego, California, and I'll be attending San Diego State University.
Hello, my name is Steve Wadud, and I come from National New Hampshire, and I'll be attending St. John's University this fall.
Hi, my name is Deidre Shannon. I'm from Greensboro, North Carolina, and I will be attending the University of North Carolina at Pembroke. And we are Team Genesis.
Okay, so maybe. Okay. So maybe you can relate to this, but I sometimes find myself wanting to go out and eat, but just the idea of trying a new place is just can seem a bit daunting, especially without knowing what to expect. So that's the main idea behind Quick Bites. So Quick Bites is an intuitive, user-friendly web application which gives you a list of restaurants based on your current location and a wide array of filters.
Sorry, we kind of forgot to change that, but starting off with this, I start off with the login page. I personally worked on this page where I stayed countless of nights working with it, trying to figure out the CSS, especially since it was rigorous. But here you can sign in, But in this case, we don't have an account, so let's go move over to the sign up page.
As you can see for the sign up page, there are already the technical functions for it, such as first name, last name, email, and all the password and everything. Then it was a simple background wallpaper, and just to keep things a little bit exciting, I saw you was laughing at it, the Jiffy emoji of the man basking on the burger.
So basically, how it works is once this form is submitted, your data is sent to the database and where it's stored. And immediately after that, the cookie is created with a unique ID of your user, which is then used whenever the page reloads. The cookie is only destroyed once the browser closes or when the user logs out, and it's created also when you log in.
Sorry, it's taking me a bit to make this account.
Okay.
Now, as you can see, this is our features page, and basically when it pulls up, it's just a list of restaurants that you can find nearby. It labels our features, breakfast, and lunch, and dinner on the tabs. And right here on the right side of the page is our filters, which includes the prices, the radius, the cuisine types, ratings. And as he clicks to submit, it will pull up a list of different types of restaurants. Steve, you want to explain that part for me?
Yes. So basically, once you submit the filters, it calls onto the Google Maps Places API, and it filters based on cafes and restaurants, and then it checks for every result, the price range, if it's the price range, the radius, the cuisine, the rating, and if it's whether or not it's open at that time.
So now, if we actually press on one of these restaurants, which can be any, Steve, would you?
Okay, so here you get a quick map to the place you want to go, which you clicked on, the name, the address, the rating. On the right, you see a directions button, which will on the desktop it will redirect you to Google Maps, but on mobile it will probably redirect you to the Google Maps app, and a quick notice status of whether or not the the restaurant is open at that time. Below here, there is a comment section where you can rate the restaurant. Let's put 5-star, and let's try this.
Like I said, we did actually run into some bumps here because of the data store, keeping all the data, being able to take it back. And actually, every time you sign back in, you'll see that. Yeah, a little wacky, but that's what makes our app fun. Now, considering that we've been showing all these icons and such, we actually do have a settings page where everybody likes a little bit of personalization in their accounts. So you can actually change your first name, last name, your email, and or password. So if I have my colleague here changed to anything really, it would actually, let's say, Francis actually. And sadly, we didn't actually manage to make an icon changer because I had a lot of trouble with making a layout for the CSS and given the allotted time. Now, what's supposed to appear here, we actually need to have the banner change for the first name. Sadly, it didn't work here, but I promise you it worked on our computer.
So the problem here is I figured out that whenever you change the email and the email that you change it to is already set into the database. I haven't set up a handler for that, so it will return an error.
Version 2 is coming. Just wait for that.
You can fix that.
So one of my challenges was definitely the learning process. The first 2 weeks were so rigorous, especially with such little experience I had. And I stayed up countless of nights for the CSS, especially for this login page. As you guys saw, I managed to make the animation, the backgrounds, and such things like that.
My main challenge was mainly the backend, trying to integrate the APIs, the data store, trying to make them work together, these different platforms, and with my own code especially, just trying to put them all together and get them to work correctly and seamlessly was definitely a new challenge where I learned a lot.
The same as Joshua over there, I came in only knowing HTML and CSS. And thanks to the TAs that helped us, I learned a little bit more, but I can only still contribute to the CSS. But thanks to Steve right here, he really helped out on the back end. So thank you for that, Steve.
Questions, comments, suggestions, concerns?
SEMA.
How did you guys do comments? That's really cool.
So basically, when you submit your comment, it will grab your rating and your comment text, and it will just store it into the database as like a new object. So the object will have the rating and the message, and then whenever and also a field for the restaurant which it was which it belongs to. So whenever the page for that restaurant renders, it will check for the comments of that page, and if it's there, it will render it. So that's just about it.
Any other questions?
Thank you for having us.
Hi, I'm Jessica Ruiz. I'm from Houston, Texas, and I'll be attending the University of Houston.
Hi, I'm Nadia Pillin. I'm from El Paso, Texas, and I'll be attending the University of Texas at El Paso.
Hello, my name is Khalil Beadle. I'm from Newmarket, Ontario, and I'll be attending the University of Waterloo.
Together, we are the Adventurers. So the Adventure Travels is our website, and this app makes the perfect app for your perfect travels. So what it does is that it facilitates whatever it is you need to do your travels, and makes everything just easier for you to process.
So basically, this app gives the user it makes the user search up some parameters. So that would be I'm just gonna go to the app trip. So that would be the destination, what you want to do, and the filter, the radius in which you want to do it. So for this, we're just going to put El Paso. We want to go to a concert, and then within a 15-mile radius, and then we would choose our events. And in El Paso, it's Google, so I'm just going to go to Google. So then we would add it to the calendar, go to the Google Calendar. Oh, it's under sounds, so thank you, Sam. Okay, cool. It didn't want to do that. So we had already added a calendar earlier. So we go sorry about that. Okay. So if we go up to the calendars, you'll see that in this case, Playboy Cardi was added onto your calendar. So it's going to explain the find the restaurants.
So after you figure out your location, you can then search nearby for whatever you want to look for. So if you go to the place or palace, and then you click go to address to make sure you're going to the right place. And sometimes there are multiple locations of the same name. So in this case, we're at the right place. And then we say we want to look for food in, 24 kilometers. And then you just click search radius and then zoom out. You'll see that it finds all the food places in a certain radius around where you search. So because there are sometimes a lot of markers will show up depending on what you search for, I made it so that when you click on it, it'll bounce so you don't lose which marker you're on. And then if you scroll down a little bit, it tells you the name of the place and the address, so you always know where you're looking. And then in case you don't really know exactly what you're looking for, you want a better idea what it looks like when you're driving. If you click on the marker you're currently selected, it'll bring you to Street View, and you can kind of see a general vicinity of what you're looking for, so it's easier to find rather than just looking for an address.
Yeah. So I worked on both HTML and CSS, and one of my main challenges was just getting the login button to actually log in and the log out button to log out. So as you can see, once you press login, it takes you directly to the Gmail instead of having to go through another process.
Oh, and one of my main challenges was I also worked with the CSS and the HTML. So it was basically getting it all to look coherent and like the same. And the fonts, especially the fonts, was a big problem for me. And I also worked on the data store for the destination for all the filters. So getting it to actually stay in the data store was a really big problem.
So some of my biggest problems were just in general working with the map. We used two separate APIs. We used Eventbrite to find events in your area and the Google Maps API with the Places library to figure out what's around you and search up those specific things. So with the Google Maps, there's this parameter called radius and you can search on radius, but the problem is it doesn't really filter only to that radius. So I kind of had to make my own filter to figure out what's actually near you and that radius was specified. And then for the Eventbrite API in general, it didn't really want to cooperate when you put in an address like I said you could. So we kind of had to limit it to just cities and then areas around that, and that took a while to figure out.
Do you guys have any questions, comments, concerns? Those out?
I couldn't help but notice that you're measuring in kilometers. Is there a reason why that's the measurement you chose?
So the question was, why are we measuring in kilometers instead of miles as we're in the United States? So the Google API actually tells you to specify things in meters, so I just converted to kilometers to make it easier. And we provided a conversion on the actual map page, so if you want a quick conversion to miles, you can use it. I decided that it's not super important to convert it to miles, so it's not a feature we needed to have as a core feature. It's something on the side that we could do later if we have more time, just not super important. So.
Any more questions?
Hi everyone, my name is Leah. I'm from Arizona and I'll be attending Barrett Honors College at Arizona State University this fall.
My name is Priya Talreja. I'm from the San Francisco Bay Area and I'll be attending University of California at Davis this fall.
My name is Eduardo Gonzalez. I'm from Oregon and I'll be attending Oregon State University this fall.
And we're group 10, and the name of our application is What's the Dish? And the purpose of our application is to simplify the problem of deciding what to cook based on what's left in your kitchen. So our application is for parents and individuals who have a bunch of stuff in their cabinet or their fridge, and they're not sure how to put it together. They forgot maybe it was in there, and maybe they want a healthy option, and maybe it's difficult because you or your loved ones have dietary restrictions. You are on a budget, you don't want to go out to eat, so our application resolves those issues.
Okay, so when you first launch our app, it takes you directly to our homepage, and our homepage details our three-step process for how we choose recipes. So first, you're going to choose the ingredients that you have, then you're going to select preferences, so say any allergies or dietary restrictions that you may have, and then finally, it's our app searches through our recipes API and delivers the recipes that most closely match what you've selected. So when you click Start, it takes you to the first step, which is selecting your ingredients, and it's divided by categories in different food groups. So we have fruits, veggies, meats, dairy, grains, and condiments and spices. And there's also a separate area where you can input anything that you may not have found in the checklist already. So say you have avocados, spinach, and chicken, and salt and pepper. You would just select those boxes and click next. And then the next page allows you to select any specifications. So if you had an allergy to say tree nuts or peanuts and fish, you would just select those. And like the other page, there's also a box where you can input anything that you may not have found in the checkboxes already. And there's also a separate area where you can select any dietary restrictions that you may have. So for now, we just have vegan, vegetarian, and gluten-free. And then when you click submit, it searches through our recipes API and it finds the recipes that closest match. So all of these recipe cards have the time that it takes to cook the meal and how close of a match it is. And when you click on the recipe card, it gives you the directions and it also tells you any ingredients that you might be missing.
So for me, I worked on the back end, and so a personal challenge I had was working with the API. I had never used APIs before, so getting through that was a bit challenging.
So a challenge for me was working on the UI and making the process more streamlined and making the website easier to use and not overwhelming the user with too much information at once.
The challenge for me was working with HTML and CSS and styling the website in a way that actually looked pleasing to the user. And aside from challenges though, some future goals we have for the app would be to actually allow the user to create an account within our application, and using their account, they'll be able to actually favorite recipes that they liked and save them for future reference. In addition to that, another future goal we have would be to implement image recognition technology so that the application will be able to identify what ingredients you have with just a picture.
So that's our app, What's the Dish? Are there any questions? Mo?
I'm curious, what determines what percentage of that conditions?
So yeah, so based on the ingredients you say that you have, it searches through the recipe UI of matching ingredients. So if you have of all of the ingredients you have, or yeah, they match like all the ingredients in that recipe, then they're saying, yeah, you have everything, so you can make this.
But it mentions the missing ingredients, so.
Yeah, so if it's not a 100% match, then it will list the ingredients that you don't have.
Casey?
I really like the spatulas and stuff that are floating around on the other pages. So how did you guys go about making that happen?
Okay, so the question, the question was, how did we get the floating spatulas that you see on our page? Like at the top?
Yeah, so basically I just searched up how to animate objects in CSS, and I just went from there. So yeah.
DA? What was the inspiration for your title?
The question was, what was the inspiration for our title?
It just sounded really cool. And it was put together so well. Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Is there a way to make the ingredient list strict, make the recipe pop up? That would be like the ingredients that
One more time, sorry?
So if you have a list of ingredients, I noticed he was talking about like if you have a list of ingredients, is there a way to restrict the recipes that show us like whether it's a match or only the ingredients not like
So the question was, is there a way to restrict it so it'll only show recipes with 100% match?
Currently we don't have that feature. We just have it where like the first couple of recipes will be the 100% match. So you can just look at like the first couple, and then when you scroll more through the bottom, it'll get to the ones that are less than 100%. Okay, thank you.
I think that was fabulous. cssi students in 3 weeks, they've gone from like 0 to hero. I think I'm like super impressed. We've done cssi for a while now. Every year it gets better. This is really the best cssi yet. Are you guys saying anything? Eric, come on up.
So it's done. Finished. How do you feel? Okay, but you did it, right? I mean, this is amazing. This is like people like go to school for years to get this far. You got here in 3 weeks. This is amazing and it's beautiful. You work together as a team. You did things that, could you imagine 3 weeks ago that you were able to do something like this, or the Wheels app, or the College Plus app? Like, Seriously, this is amazing. It's like magic, but it's not because you know how you did it. Like Simon said, every year I am more astounded at what y'all are able to do in really a week, right? You spend 2 weeks teaching you how to do things and you spend a week doing it. It just, it's amazing. I'm so amazingly proud of y'all. It's fantastic. I'm excited to see what the future holds in store for you. Congratulations.
So you said a lot of what I was going to say, but I want to add, we spent 2 weeks of classroom instruction, and we spent 2 days of that together. And the results that I've seen up on the screen today impressed me quite a bit. I guess a lot of it did get through. I was not quite sure where I was landing, but I'm just really impressed with, going from everything you had to learn, which you not having seen this technology before, or maybe having some very light exposure to it, to really creating something that that is very presentable, very demoable. I understood all the demos, so everything worked pretty well. I know that there was a lot of last minute scrambling to make this stuff work, but you did it. You made it work, you presented it, and it made a really good impression on this end. So you should really be proud of yourself. I definitely am. And I'm very glad to have met you and to have spent 2 days sharing this with you. Thank you.
Hi, folks. I'd just like to repeat everything that's already been said. I just cannot believe how far you guys have come in the last 3 weeks. It's been absolutely amazing. Whenever I talk about CSSI with my family and friends over the last 3 weeks, I find it's impossible to not talk in total cliches. It's just rewarding. I feel so lucky and blessed and privileged to have met all of you and to work with all of you. And I feel so dumb saying those things, but it's totally true. Even more dumb. It feels like it's like falling in love for the first time, where I know it's like you hear all of these cheesy fake love songs, and you're like, that's fake, that's not real. And then when it finally happens, it's like, oh, I guess maybe they were onto something. And it's also been a lot. The hours have been super long, except when it comes to sleep. So it's been so worth it though. Every day when I come home, I'm glowing in my chest, and I fall right asleep immediately. Luckily, I don't have homework like you guys. So yeah, I'm just so proud of you guys for pushing through this and for coming here every day throughout the sickness and the sleeplessness, and for learning all of this stuff. And I'm just so thankful to know all of you guys now. Thank you.
All right, hey everyone, I'm Lauren Salenza, UX designer on the Google Maps team. You all know me from the Human Factors class. And again, incredible work, incredible job, and particularly really love how you thought deeply about the human factors in your work, thinking about how to make things really accessible for many different types of human beings, thinking about the environment, situation that they're in, and how they're going to choose those options. And to also know that there's many, many careers in tech you can go into, and there's many pathways for you to explore. So fantastic job. Thank you so much for sharing this with us today.
I want to plus one what Bo said. Because you explained something I've been trying to explain to my family and my colleagues. A couple weeks ago, after we explored jQuery together, rolled into the morning, and my blessed intern was like, "Wow, you seem really chipper today. What's going on?" At first, I was like, "Am I down all the time? Is that a bad thing?" But then I realized, no, this is my CSSI smile. This is honestly the best part of my Google year. The rest of the year is just launches and stuff, but this is awesome. So it is. It's a special kind of glow. It's awesome. Thank you. Thank you for being a part of it.
Hey, okay, this thing's on.
Cool. So about 2 years ago, me and those two guys over there were sitting right over here, and we just got done doing exactly what you just did, and it was awesome. And it does kind of feel like the end of something, but you'll realize very soon this is just the beginning of something that's going to be amazing. There are several CSSI alum in here. I see like 5 other alums from across the country in here, which is awesome. There are a bunch of interns in here. My pod mate's over here, Lorena. So like, apply to EP, apply to every internship you possibly want. Try to come back to Google, try to really embrace what you've learned, which I know I've said this probably 1,000 times to every single one of you. You learned how to learn, and really take those skills with you into college, into your classes, and you'll really realize how much this helped you, but also how much this wasn't the end of anything. This is really a starting point, and you will be friends with everybody in your class for the next however, at least 2 years. I mean, I'm still friends with everyone. But yeah, so just enjoy the after party here, and keep in touch with Simone.
I just want to say this while you guys are all still here. Do me a favor, right? When you all go home, get on your laptops, copy your projects, paste it into your folder, change the title, put in your resume. You will get any internship. That's it. That's all I want to say.
All right, okay. This is great. I gotta say one thing. We gotta thank all the TAs and instructors and the RAs. They've been instrumental. Thank you very much. Science, we graduated. Woo! All right, so we have our instructions from Natalie and Joyce.
We have a couple minutes before we're gonna head over to Origins for our final party. In theme of CSSI, we're gonna do one more survey while we still have you here and your laptops. I'll just plug in real quick. I know, I'm sorry. Thank you to everyone who came.
I remember. Oh, yes.